Everybody say hi.
Hi.
Welcome everyone. Today I will be defining ethos, pathos, and logos and how Mary Fisher used them to become a powerful influence in the 1992's Republican Convention. Finally, I will also be talking about which one of Aristotle's 3 motivational appeals will be the best fit for a persuasive speaker. Ethos has to do with one's personal credibility. We can establish our credibility with good character, expertise, certifications, and credentials, as well as the speaker being a living example of what they are going to talk about. Moving on to pathos, we have to recognize that it appeals to the audience's emotion. We can appeal to our audience's emotion by providing detailed imagery, metaphors, stories, and real-life examples. Finally, logos. Logos has to do with having an argument that is supported by factual evidence. We can build a sound argument through high-quality research of facts and statistics, and by maintaining a tight or close relationship between our claim and the evidence that we're going to be using to support our claim. Moving on to how Mary Fisher used ethos, pathos, and logos to capture her audience's attention in the 1992 Republican Convention. She used ethos by establishing credibility and speaking from personal experience of being a living person who had AIDS/HIV. She was honest about her diagnosis, which showed her courage and the strength that she had to use to be discussing a topic that carried a lot of stigma around it, since people were in denial and were having a stereotype on HIV/AIDS. Her first-hand perspective makes her a trustworthy, credible speaker. Moving on to how she used pathos in her speech. She uses pathos by making a powerful emotional connection and powerful language, to connecting it to personal stories that encourage empathy and compassion towards the HIV/AIDS disease. She reminded the audience that AIDS affects all real people and families, not just people who were of black color or gay. Her calm but heartfelt delivery through this message that she was giving in the 1992 Republican Convention helped the listeners to connect emotionally with her message. For example, she described the fear, isolation, and discrimination that she faced every day since being public about her diagnosis with HIV. She also was encouraging for the audience to replace judgment with kindness. Moving on to how she used logos. She used logos to support her message with facts and reasoning. She explained that HIV/AIDS can affect anybody, no matter the background you come from, and she also argued that through the education, awareness, and prevention was more effective than being in fear or denial of what this disease could do to you or one of your family members that you know. Her logic challenged common misconceptions about the disease while encouraging that the stigma around it should end and we should be more open about it so that people would be free to educate themselves about it. An example of this is that when she pointed out that AIDS is a public health issue affecting many communities, making the case that everybody should care about the prevention and education rather than assuming that they are not at risk. She mentioned in her speech that everybody is at risk, not just some people. Of the 3 motivational appeals, I would say that pathos is the most important. This is because emotions often influence people more than what decisions and facts could do alone. When a speaker connects with the audience on an emotional level, listeners are more likely to pay attention, remember the message, and feel motivated to take action. While ethos and logos are also important, emotional connection is what more often inspires people to change their beliefs or behavior. For example, Mary Fisher used her personal story to create empathy, making her message much more powerful and persuasive than facts alone. My name is Jahelyn Escobar, and thank you for listening to my presentation.